Our top focus this hour: after Pfizer, the United States FDA expert panel has now endorsed the coronavirus vaccine being developed by Moderna. Vaccine advisors to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration met on Thursday to discuss the second coronavirus vaccine for the U.S. market. The panel voted 20 in favor, none against, with one abstention. Listen in.
I'd like to close by thanking the committee members, thanking FDA for giving us an agenda which allowed much more open discussion, which I think benefits all of us, including trying to advise FDA on some of these very tough issues that we are facing. And congratulations to us all for achieving this emergency use authorization for a second vaccine, which, along with other events, will eventually and sooner, we hope, break the back of the pandemic.
Providing another ray of hope to the nation overwhelmed with the coronavirus, the FDA is now expected to grant emergency use approval as early as Friday. The FDA has already telegraphed that a quick emergency use authorization can be expected, and this one could go through even faster than the emergency use approval for Pfizer earlier this month. If approved, Moderna will be the second vaccine to be approved in the U.S. for emergency deployment. The U.S. has already bought nearly all the available stock of the vaccine. The Moderna vaccine is very similar to Pfizer's and BioNTech's coronavirus vaccine. Both use a new approach involving genetic material known as messenger RNA or mRNA. Both have shown about 95% efficacy in preventing the disease, and both appear to be safe and have been tested in tens of thousands of volunteers across the U.S. and the world. Officials plan to allocate about 5.9 million doses of the vaccine, assuming it receives regulatory authorization. Even as the second vaccine nears approval, the U.S. coronavirus-related deaths soared to a daily record of 3,580. Hospitalizations rose for the 19th straight day on Wednesday, and more than 232,000 cases were reported in just a single day, which is now the second highest daily caseload on record. California became the first state to report more than 50,000 cases in a single day. And the U.S. overall has lost more than 300,000 lives due to COVID-19. And even now, record numbers of patients threaten to overwhelm the U.S. hospitals and healthcare system. For more on this story, we have Jagriti Dave joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us, Jagriti. Now, a second vaccine is to be approved by the FDA in the U.S., and this one by Moderna, of course. While this is great news for a country which is currently the worst affected from the pandemic, the big question is the U.S. rushing to approve vaccines at a time when the side effects of them are also coming to light?
Well, I think one thing that health experts are saying is that their decision-making is governed purely by the science, not by politics. You know, the Trump administration, the president himself, even before the Pfizer vaccine was approved, was, you know, talking about getting a vaccine approved by Election Day on November the 3rd. And this is something that health experts have had to say time and time again, that they are being governed by the science. Of course, there have been some side effects that have been noted in the Pfizer vaccine, but health experts and the panel, they have said that the benefits is in the Moderna vaccine, that they have said that the benefits outweigh anything that they have seen. You've had Dr. Haley Gans of the Stanford Medical University Center of Moderna saying that the evidence that had been studied in great detail on this vaccine highly outweighs any of the issues we've seen.
Right. Now, Jagriti, is there any change in the U.S. advisory as to who shouldn't be taking this vaccine?
Well, if the Moderna vaccine is approved, then it will be given to people 18 years and older. The Pfizer vaccine was approved for 16 years old and older. There are, as you say, similarities between Moderna and Pfizer's vaccine. Both use the same mRNA technology. Both are two-shot doses delivered 2 weeks apart. The one major difference, though, which will ease the transportation and storage of Moderna's vaccine, is that it doesn't need to be stored in ultra cold temperatures. It can be stored in normal freezer temperatures. So the difference is sort of minus 20 degrees Celsius for the Moderna vaccine compared to the minus 75 degrees for the Pfizer vaccine.
Right. Jagriti, my final question. What are now the rollout plans now that a second vaccine will be a reality soon? Are there concerns that developed or rich nations would be monopolizing vaccines, leaving other countries behind?
I think there are absolutely concerns that the wealthier nations are getting access to these vaccines faster, despite initiatives like COVAX, etc., which are trying to ensure that there is equity, global equity, when it comes to the distribution of vaccines. But with Moderna, the Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar has said that 5.9 million doses are ready to go to states and large cities in the United States. I think there is a feeling that it is every man for himself when it comes to vaccine distribution within their own countries.
Right. All right, Jagriti, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast and for all your inputs.